Hey, what is up guys? This is Rich here with Gaming Tech United, and today I want to talk about why we need to stop romanticizing Sega. Now, I grew up a Sega kid. From as early on as I can remember, as far back in my memory, I was playing either with a Sega Genesis controller or on a Sega Genesis. The Sega Genesis is the reason I got into this hobby. It's the reason I love video games. I just have so many fond memories of that machine. And commercially, the Genesis was a success. It sold 40 million units. That's more than the Nintendo 64 or the original Xbox. So it was a huge success. And I still remember being a young kid hearing, Sega does what Nintendo don't, and hearing that rivalry back and forth, and having Sega kind of be this anti-establishment where all the cool kids played was Sega. And it just was something so special to me, and I still remember playing the Sonic games, and Sonic and Knuckles was drilled into my mind because Knuckles became one of my favorite characters as a kid. But if we look at what Sega is now compared to what Sega was back then, where did it go wrong? What happened? Well, today I want to bring a point to you guys that some may get angry about, and some will probably think that I'm crazy about. And it's that I think that the Sega Genesis was an outlier. It was an exception to the rule. It wasn't the rule. I think that looking back on Sega, we should remember that commercially, outside of the Genesis, their consoles haven't sold well. They haven't had success as a console manufacturer since the Sega Genesis. When we look at their other systems, the Master System, around 14-15 million units. The Game Gear, 11 million units. The Dreamcast, 10.6 million units. The Saturn, 9.5 million units. Looking at these numbers and seeing the public perception of saying, oh, Sega needs to get back into the console race. They need to use those creative juices that they have. And I don't understand where that comes from, that sentiment, because looking back on their track record, yes, the Dreamcast was ahead of its time, but it just did not catch on. And I don't think that Sega, number one, has the money to do that anymore, but I don't think that Sega is all that amazing of a console manufacturer. I don't know why there's this hype behind them when really only one of their systems ever was commercially successful. I don't know where this trust with them happens. I understand that the Sega Genesis opens the doorway and piques a lot of interest in the retro game community, because like I said, I have a lot of those great memories. I from as early as on I can remember, my dad, my uncle, and all their friends played the Sega Genesis, and I was right there with them. I grew up on the Sega Genesis, but I don't know where this love and affection comes for them that would support a full console. You look at their sales numbers that we just went over. I think that sometimes people look at the Sega Genesis and they think, wow, Sega is still that. And they look at what the Dreamcast could have been, and they say, wow, Sega, what could they do? And they don't understand that forever Sega Genesis, there's 5 other consoles that just flopped, really. And I know that people say sales numbers aren't everything, but in the end, sales numbers are everything. When you sell a lot, you get to take more chances, you get to take more risks, you get to create new consoles. Look at the PlayStation 4, look at the Xbox One. Those things are selling, and there's a reason that they're selling. It's because they cater to the market, and I just don't know that Sega could create something that caters to the market, and I don't know that they would create a console that would be worth playing. I just don't know with what Sega has done, especially with their quote-unquote marquee franchise in Sonic. I don't know how anyone can trust Sega at the moment. So thanks for watching, guys. Be sure to subscribe, hit that thumbs up button if you like what you saw. They both help us out tremendously. Hit the comments. I want to hear what you guys have to say about this. Do you hold Sega high up? Do you think that they're just kind of meh like I do now? Do you have fond memories like I do though? Because like I said, I still have amazing memories from back in the day playing the old Sonic games and the old X-Men games. So I want to hear what your guys' thoughts on this are. Again, this is Rich with Gaming Tech United. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you in the next video.